been with. And my heritage and the value of family and of values, that in general, the right values being raised that way, heritage is everything. And the history, knowing where brands have been, where the community has been, where the person you're working with or working for or works for you has been, is everything. It's absolute insight for you and them to connect to be your best self. And then lastly, hard work. I remember one Nike story. It was before an investor meeting, and the toning business. Who bought a pair of toning shoes in the room? Anybody? Good. So the toning shoe business was not a business we were in. And there were a lot of people making these toning shoes out there with a lot of promises of getting you fit without the sweat. And I remember the CEO saying to me, Jan, if they ask you about toning, this is the conversation. Toning takes training, and training takes hard work. And there's no substitute for hard work. So for the men in the room, this is Spanx that we all know, women know deeply, but I bet the women didn't know that this is also Spanx. And going forward, this is even Spanx. So we offer choices, and we support all women with all kinds of options for her to feel confident on the inside as she's changing the world on the outside every single day. And the most important part of my time at Spanx, and the way we got to the place of insights around the consumer and innovation that serves her problems and creating an experience for her online and in store has all been done through the power of the team, all of it. And this is a tiny little snapshot of the team. 220 unbelievable people, 200 women, 20 men, right? Unbelievable women who are down there, most of them millennials, people who have the unbelievable fortitude, the willingness to win, and the energy to see Sarah Blakey's star still shine, but most importantly, support each other. And then lastly, hard work. This is a representation in this room. All of us know firsthand the commitment to hard work that we have coming from this part of the country and the world. This town is of nothing else. It's of people who know how to roll their sleeves up, know how to get the work done. This is not a town of entitlement. This is not a town of privilege in the way that you feel deserve to be, really given without the work. This is a town of hard work, and that's something that starts and ends with my day every day. In high school, I headed out to college in Ithaca, New York, and I studied psychology and business, and I knew I had a love for Brockton, but I also knew that there was a big world outside of Brockton. I knew through movies and magazines and stories and people that I had met along the way that there were other things happening beyond Brockton, and although my family really lived within 5 miles of each other, it was time for me to really explore and find out what was beyond this fair city. So I graduated, I headed to New York, and I thought, no problem, I'll get a job in New York. I mean, isn't that what everybody does? City of dreams as well. And I had no network, and I did not have Ivy degrees and connections through that. I had no contacts. I just opened up the New York Times and took out the classifieds. Remember when we used to do that? Circle the ad, circle the ad, circle the ad. And I went to all these interviews, and every time I went to an interview, I was determined to work in fashion and beauty. That's what I wanted to do. Every time I went to an interview, they would put me in a room